Magandang araw sa lahat. The Fraternal Order of Eagles, Philippine Eagles, Limbas Mandarigit Eagles Club of Antipolo City, Rizal is here again to render public service. We will be taking election offenses. There are so many prohibited and punishable acts under the Omnibus Election Code of the Philippines. We all know that the Philippines is a democratic and republican state. We have ordained in our constitution that sovereignty resides in the people and that all government authority emanates from them. Thus, we have the constitutional provision on suffrage. This is our right of voting at public elections. The right of suffrage or the right to vote then is the institution that makes a reality of rule by the people. Now, without the right of suffrage, the principle of sovereignty residing in the people becomes nugatory or useless. Now, to maintain a clean and honest elections, we have a law prohibiting and penalizing acts denominated as election offenses. The first item on prohibited and penalized act is vote buying and vote selling. Take note, vote buying and vote selling are both penalized. So ikaw ang nagbumili ng boto, that is a punishable act. Ikaw naman yung nagbinta ng boto, that is also a punishable act. Vote buying is committed by any person who give or offers or promises money, o hindi lang naman money or anything of value, or gives or promises employment. Sige, i-employ ka namin kung mananalo kami, o bubuto mo kami. Gives or promises employment or promises to make expenditure to be made to any person or association to endorse anyone or the public in general to vote for or against any candidate. Halimbawa, sinabi, sige, iboto nyo kami. Tapos ito, magbibigay kami ng programa dito sa inyong grupo, sa inyong asosasyon. That is vote buying. Another one which is penalized is the wagering upon the result of the election. It is an election offense. Yung nagpustahan, sige, ang manalo ay ganito. This is committed by any person who bids or wagers upon the result, upon the outcome of or any contingency in connection with an election. Another one, coercion of subordinates to vote for a candidate is an election offense. Thus, any public officer or any officer of a public or private corporation or even the administrator of any religious organization or employer or landowner who coerces or who intimidates or compels or in any manner influence any of his subordinates or members or house helpers or tenants to vote for or against any candidate commits an election offense. Sabihan nila yung mga tenant sa bahay nila, sa lupa nila, pag hindi ka bumoto, paalisin ka namin dyan. Ikaw naman nakatulong, pag hindi mo iboto si Mr. X, palitan ka na namin. So, kawawa naman, sige, iboboto na lang. Right? O ikaw, empleyado, pag iboto mo si ganito, pag hindi, sige, tanggalin ka namin. That is coercion to vote for a particular candidate. That is an election offense. Another offense is any person who threatens or intimidates or terrorizes or coerces any election official or employees in the performance of his official function, election functions or duties. Well, such person commits an election offense. Halimbawa, sa election day, tinatakot mo yung mga election officials. When we say election officials, yung nandun, hindi lang taga-kumilik. It includes, of course, the teachers. Sila yung mga nandyan. Pag tinitreatin mo or tinatakot mo or you terrorizes those officials, that constitute an election offense. Another one, which is also common, will any public officer or employee who intervenes in any election campaign or engages in any partisan political activity commits an election offense. Kung ikaw ay empleyado ng gobyerno, ay huwag kang makialam. Do not campaign for a candidate. But of course, you're not prohibited naman by law to say, sino yung ipipiliin mo? Tinanong ka, sinong iboto mo? Ay, yung iboto ko is siya, si ganito. That is not an election offense. That is allowed. What is not allowed, prohibited for public officials or employee, you campaign for a particular candidate. Okay. Sa election period, meron dyan, magkakalat-kalat yan. Nangangampanya pa, election day na. It is unlawful to solicit votes or undertake any propaganda on the day of the election. Ang daming ganyan. Pero hindi naman hinuhuli. Well, anyway, ito yung batas. Iba yung batas, iba yung pagpatupad ng batas. Sino may kasalanan? Sabihin, yung pulis kasi hindi inuhuli. Ba't ka kasi nag-violate? Do not violate. Let us cooperate. Any person who, although possessing permit to carry firearm, meron ka namang permit to carry firearm. The firearm is licensed, but carries the firearm outside his residence during the election period. During the election period, ito, hindi lang yung election day, the election period, unless authorized in writing by the Commission on Elections, commits an election offense. Kaya huwag kang magdala ng firearm kahit license ka or you have the permit to carry firearm if you do not have authority in writing coming from the Commission on Election. Another one, the firearm you carried outside of your residence is not licensed. Or you are not licensed to possess a firearm. There are two crimes committed in this case. The first is an election offense for carrying a firearm without authority, written authority from the Commission on Election. Another crime, illegal possession of firearm. Sakit yung ulo, walang kabuluhang kaso. Now, what is the consequence? What is the effect if a person is arrested without warrant for committing an election offense? Some of which we enumerated. Ang dami pa eh. Pero ito lang ang dinidiscuss natin. Ito yung napakamahalaga sa ngayon. Now, if a person is arrested without warrant for committing an election offense, he will then be brought to the nearest police station. Nakulong ka. Now, thereafter, that person arrested will be subjected to an inquest proceeding before the office of the prosecutor. Na-discuss na natin, we have already a topic on inquest proceeding in this group. Alright, so inquest na, if the prosecutor, after conducting the inquest proceeding, finds probable cause to charge the person arrested, then an information will then be filed by the prosecutor where? Before the regional trial court. In election offenses, the court that has original and exclusive jurisdiction is the regional trial court. Nandun na sa korte. The case will then be set for arraignment, pre-trial, and in trial. Kung maabsuelto, good for that person. But if he's convicted, sorry for that person, kulong, aabutin niya sa kulungan. And by the way, in an election offense, the convict cannot avail of the privilege of the provision law. Kulong talaga. Well, this topic on election offense, kasi election na nga sa Monday, is a timely one. This is another public service in the field of law by the Fraternal Order of Eagles, Philippine Eagles, specifically our club, the Limbas Mandaragat Eagles Club, Antipolo City, lalawigan ng Rizal. Maraming salamat sa lahat.